The name is Jesus, only Jesus. Oh, only Jesus. Only Jesus.
Welcome back to Faithful Chats. Today, we're unpacking Matthew chapter 5, verses 33 to 37, where Jesus teaches about oaths. This is another section of the Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus takes a familiar law and pushes us to think deeper about integrity and honesty in every part of our lives.
That's right. Jesus begins by saying, "Again, you have heard that it was said to the people long ago, 'Do not break your oath, but fulfill to the Lord the vows you have made.'"
This refers to Old Testament teachings, where taking oaths was a way to affirm your truthfulness, especially in serious matters. People would swear by God or something sacred to guarantee their honesty.
Exactly. But then Jesus flips it on its head. He says, "But I tell you, do not swear an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king."
Here, Jesus isn't talking about legal oaths, like in a courtroom. Instead, he's addressing a common cultural practice. People would make casual or exaggerated oaths, swearing by sacred things to add weight to their promises, but often without any intention of following through.
And it didn't stop there. People tried to get clever by swearing on things other than God, like heaven, earth, or Jerusalem, thinking it made their oaths less binding.
But Jesus calls this out. He reminds us that everything belongs to God, so trying to swear by something less sacred doesn't remove accountability.
Right. Then he says, "And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black."
This drives home the point that we don't control the things we often invoke in our oaths. It's a reminder of our limited power compared to God's sovereignty.
And finally, Jesus sums it up with, "All you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one."
This is such a powerful statement. Jesus is saying that our words should carry enough integrity that we don't need to swear by anything to prove we're being truthful.
Exactly. In God's kingdom, honesty and integrity should be so deeply ingrained in us that a simple yes or no is trustworthy.
So what does this look like for us today?
First, it's a call to be people of integrity. Do our words align with our actions? Are we trustworthy in what we say and do?
And second, it's about resisting the temptation to exaggerate or overpromise. In a world full of spin and half-truths, living with simple honesty is a radical way to reflect God's character.
It's also about humility. Recognizing that we don't control everything, like the hairs on our heads, reminds us to live with dependence on God and authenticity in our relationships.
Listeners, here's something to reflect on this week. How can you let your yes be yes and your no be no? Are there areas in your life where you need to commit to greater honesty or follow through on your word?
We'd love to hear your thoughts and stories about living with integrity. And next time, we'll explore Jesus' teaching on revenge and turning the other cheek. Another powerful challenge to the way we view justice and relationships.
Thanks for joining us on Faithful Chats. Until next time, let's strive to live with honesty, humility, and integrity, reflecting God's truth in all we say and do.
As we wrap up today's episode, we want to remind you that we don't shy away from difficult topics just like the Bible. We believe tackling challenging subjects head-on is important, because that's how we grow and learn together.
However, we know that sometimes these kinds of conversations don't exactly help with the algorithms. So if you found today's episode valuable, we'd love for you to share it with friends, Christian or otherwise. Help us spread these important messages far and wide.
If you'd like to support the creation of these episodes and help us continue diving into tough but essential topics, consider becoming a patron or grabbing some merch. All the information is below. Your support makes all the difference.
Thank you for listening. And until next time, keep growing in faith, truth, and love.